I am Big Ron Jones with my close friend Myron Jackson, MJ3000.
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you guys a quick story. I would have never known at the rightful age of 40 that when I was much younger, my best friend would be on the other side of the world doing the exact same thing that I was doing.
Right.
Playing basketball,
Yep.
playing football, just doing all the sports, having fun, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And we had the same exact career track though, playing sports as youth. But then we realized after a while, we're pretty good at this.
Yes.
And our physiques look pretty good as well.
Right.
Let's high schoolers tell it, right? So as high schoolers, we thought we were doing something. We got towards that post-high school time frame and decided that bodybuilding is what we should do.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But one thing we did know was that at taller heights like us, 6 foot and above, hitting our legs would be definitely a big task.
Very important.
So we trained legs like no other.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Very, very important.
Had to grow those legs. Bro, you did have something going on in your early career though when it comes to your legs though.
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, I had a knee injury.
Okay.
Back several years ago. It was kind of a little bit after my bodybuilding career.
Okay.
But I will tell you this, specifically when you were talking about taller guys.
Uh-huh.
It just hits different when you see a taller guy with legs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And from a bodybuilding perspective, when it matches the upper body and you have height, no one can stand next to you. I don't care what anybody says.
Not at all.
But it is a long journey and it's a lot more grueling because our range of motion is a lot different. You know what I'm saying? It isn't like this. It's like this. You know what I'm saying?
Got to be smart about it.
But yeah, the knee injury was pretty significant.
Yeah.
But you know, I came back from it, and one of the reasons why I came back from it so well and so quickly because I didn't need legs. They were already there. It was just muscle memory, getting them back and that volume and adjusting my training a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was important. Legs, I cannot stress for a taller guy. It is extremely important.
Okay, guys. So now you know the purpose of this video. We, as two taller guys, are going to show you how we built legs to the point we are now.
Let's go.
All right. Follow along with us, guys. Contrary to the new popular belief, squats are not designed to grow your glutes. Yes, it can definitely help your glutes, but it's not gonna grow your glutes.
Right.
Promise you. Me and Myron did not spend our youthful years doing squats to grow booties.
No.
We did squats to grow our quads, hamstrings, the overall leg.
Right.
Myron's gonna show you right now the best way to get those legs going in a squat.
Let's go, man.
All right, big dog, let's show them how it works down.
Yes, sir. Love my setup.
Now you may notice that during the squat, Myron's feet are right at shoulder width, a tad bit wider. Sometimes they're much wider, sometimes they're much more narrow. There's many variations to a squat. They're all perfectly valid. Throughout your journey, you'll play with those different positionings.
Yes, sir.
Tell me this, big dog. One major key when it comes to squats you want everyone to know.
Range of motion.
Range of motion?
Especially if you're a taller guy, take your ego out of it because that could be very harmful and dangerous. So a lot of guys want to load up with a lot of weight and then they barely go down with that range. We've seen that short range of motion. It absolutely does nothing for me.
Yeah.
Actually does more damage to your back and your joints. So my theory is always take off the weight. I don't care if you got to break it down to one plate. Focus on your range of motion, going all the way down, coming all the way up. And then you'll actually see the difference when it comes to volume, strength as well, and endurance.
There it goes. So if there was one takeaway from a squat via MJ3000, it is range of motion. I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So in our earlier years, we did our compound motions at the very beginning because we're super strong, well-rested, ready to go.
Ready to go.
Now we train a little differently here. We would typically now do some of our compound motions on the backside of the workout.
Right.
Because we don't have to use super heavy weights anymore.
Right.
As far as you, decide what you want to do, at the beginning or the end.
Right.
Watch this compound motion to definitely make sure you keep in that workout though.
Let's go.
Using this leg press. You're gonna have a lot of variations to the leg press. Some say get much wider, some say get extra narrow, some say have a natural outward position to your foot. Whatever it is, it's still gonna be your legs. You're not gonna switch to your biceps. So do whatever feels most comfortable to you at that point in your journey. You're still gonna train the leg. Quads, hamstring, glute, all that.
Yes, sir.
So, pressing off, taking it deep into your chest and back out. Yes, there are parts of my journey where we both had our legs wider and sent our knees outer and back up. Again, do what feels best to you at that point in time. We're still going with 15 reps on this though.
Yes, sir. Range of motion.
Range of motion, like you said earlier.
You can tell. If you ain't coming all the way down, drop the weight.
There it goes.
All about range of motion, baby.
So just as Myron told you, if there's no range of motion, drop the weight. That means drop your ego first and then drop the weight. We have arrived to the hamstrings, the back of your legs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ain't nothing worse than having a big bicep and no tricep back there, right? You know
Same thing, right?
Gotta have hamstrings, and leg curls is essential, my brother.
There it goes. Quads in the front, hamstrings in the back. Let's get a set going, big dog.
Let's go.
It's funny you mentioned having the back of that leg like a bicep. It's literally called the bicep femoris.
Right, exactly.
It's the bicep of the back of your leg. This curling action, just like a curling action, grows just that.
Important. And then the beautiful thing about leg curls, you can isolate. This was essential for me during my knee injury because I had to do a lot of isolation movements for the recovery.
Oh, so single leg motions help you out the most.
Man, they help you out tremendous.
You're
Just
right,
that single leg.
I love that.
Especially if you are dealing with, imbalance or strength issues. Sometimes the leg is stronger than the other.
Yeah.
So isolation is always going to be key, especially for your hamstrings.
Perfect. So that makes a lot of sense. Isolating one side from the other. If you're doing both at the same time, one side can almost always overcompensate. So as you were saying a second ago, when it comes to trying to get the equal strength on both sides, train them independent. That way one can't dominate the other.
Yes.
Also, make sure you set that weight according to your weak side.
Yes.
So let's just say your left leg is your weak leg. Well, go off your left leg and then go to your right leg.
Yep.
Good tips for you guys. This is a hamstring curl. Let's get this workout going, big dog.
Let's go, man.
So you do not want to have imbalanced legs. That means one side is stronger than the other. Myron will be the first one to tell you. When he had his knee injury, he came back from that knee injury so fast because he had balance of quad to hamstring.
Yes.
When it comes to your development, hit those quads just as much as you do your hamstrings. Enough of the babbling, he goes to the next set. I'm gonna actually do this one here with single leg first. So we're gonna go one leg first, leading with my dominant leg, or excuse me, my weaker leg, because based on what weight this leg can do, how many reps it can do, it's gonna set the tone for the other leg, making sure I have balance in my growth.
Yeah, extensions are key, man. I almost use extensions as almost a warm-up for when I'm doing legs. I always like to start with them and end with them.
Good
call. I find when I do the isolation, man, it gets that teardrop activated so quickly. I love it.
You will see a million variations, especially on social network, on how to train this. Right. Do know this though, no matter what you do, you're still training your quads. Don't let that nerd over-talk you and think that you're not doing your quads anymore because your foot position was different, or your butt was up, or your butt was down. It's still your quad. You're not switching magically to another muscle.
Yes, exactly.
Enjoy yourself, enjoy your journey. So at this point of the workout, we're getting to our calves. The back of your leg, the lower portion of it. There's a bunch of ways of training them. We're gonna do both of them today, actually, both our favorites, I should say. He's doing a seated calf raise. Again, there's variations to your toes pointing inward, outward. No matter what you do, make sure it's fun to you because it's still gonna be calves, no matter what you do with that variation. Boy, you're a bad cat doing your calf raising them J's.
I know they're gonna grill me.
I could never. I could never. So after those that he just hit, I'm doing the same thing, but he'll stay in there and I'll stay here. Doing a regular calf raise. Holding on to something stable, coming to the very top and back down. Of course, you will see variation. So sometimes people will actually be on an elevated platform and going down and back up. Either way it goes, it's still your calves.
Yep.
So enjoy yourself at that point in your journey. You'll use multiple variations throughout your career.
That's it. Yes, sir. I love it.
Myron, if you had to give him one tip about calf development, what would it be? Frequency, heavyweight, what you thinking?
I once heard this from Lee Haney because calves have been a struggle for me. They weren't at one point, but Lee Haney always said, train calves every time you're in the gym. I don't care if you're coming in as far as coming to hit chest, back. He would say always start with calves because it is such a stubborn muscle because we use it all the time because we're always walking. So you kind of got to break through that barrier and just give it that extra work. But I would say volume. Definitely volume is the way to go. Range of motion. I'm always going to say range of motion, bringing it all the way, not to the point where you're going to pop an Achilles, whether you're doing a leg press or like you're doing standing calf raises. But range of motion is important, and just making sure you're going all the way up and all the way down.
He gave you two special ones.
Yeah.
Range of motion and frequency. That means you don't annihilate them every time you train them. Just hit them frequently.
Yep.
I like that idea, bro.
Yes, sir.
So now you have it. When we were growing up, we did a lot of performance sports.
Yes.
So we were super fast, we could jump high, but it did not translate to the stage.
No.
We had to still grow bulk to our legs. We just showed you what we did to grow true mass to our legs in our youthful years. You can still do it now.
Yes.
Not quite to the same degree.
Right.
It could still work for you, but that's how we did it in our earlier years.
Right.
Thanks for watching us, you guys. I am Big Ron Jones with MJ3000. Practical advice for your real world goals.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff, brother.
My guy.
Uh-huh.